welcome back to We Like What We Like, the podcast. I'm Brandon Bennett.
I'm Greg Fountain.
Today we're going to be discussing products that we wish would make a comeback. But before that, how are things going?
Pretty good.
What have you been up to lately? Any more games?
Yeah, so I recently started Devil May Cry.
Okay.
For the first time. I've never played it at all before. I've
played the first one, but it's been a long time. I haven't played any of the sequels, so what do you think of it so far?
It's good. I'm having fun playing it. But admittedly, I'm not getting where the big fandom of it comes from. Maybe there's more later in the game or in the sequels, but it honestly doesn't seem like there's that much in the way of lore.
Oh, okay.
It just seems kind of arcadey, but there's this whole big community of fandom, and it's
there is.
I guess I don't get what are you basing these things off of?
Well, how long have you been playing it?
A couple hours in.
That may be why too. I mean, you're.
But I guess it's the only cutscenes really have just been somebody appearing and being I'm gonna get you.
Yeah.
There's not I don't even really know what the overall story is. It's kind of, you just get these little I'm doing this now.
Yeah.
I'm doing this now. When the level ends, that's the end of the level. On to the next one. And then there's no you get this item and take it here, but they don't tell you why. It's just do it.
Yeah.
And it's why is he doing this? How does he know?
Well, it's all science fiction.
all the backstory you seem to get is the name of the level, and then there's a 1-sentence description of what you must get the Staff of Judgment and take it to the door to blah blah blah.
Yeah.
It's that's the story. Woo, mind blowing.
I don't know. Maybe it gets deeper after the second. Maybe they start
right.
adding to it or something.
It could just be it all starts coming together later.
Yeah.
But yeah, as of right now, it's a fun game, but I don't feel like I know what's going on.
Yeah.
I'm just sort of doing what it tells me to do.
Do you feel like the controls are intuitive or?
No, I actually don't like the controls. They got this double jump, and you can kind of kick up to a higher wall.
Yeah.
But there are so many ledges that you think you should be able to stand on, and you'll just kind of kick up and ricochet off of it. And then on other times, there are ones that you wouldn't ever think to get on, but you'll accidentally ricochet over onto it. And you're I would have never guessed.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I found that frustrating when I played it too. I did not think the controls were that great. And I think that's why, it took me a long time to beat that game because I just kept getting frustrated.
Yeah, you jump 40 feet in the air every time, it seems like. Already, before you do your double thing. The guy can
just the world's best jumper.
Leap onto the roof of buildings.
It's Spider-Man.
And the gun is...
Spider-Man's known for his leaping abilities, right?
Yeah, I believe that's what
it's building single bounds?
Yep.
Single
that's
bounds.
Him. Yeah. All the single bounds.
Yep.
All the single bounds. All the single bounds.
Yep. I remember that one.
That Beyonce. She's a singer.
She should be.
She's dating Jazzy, right?
Yep.
Okay.
DJ Jazzy.
Jazzy.
Jefferson.
DJ Jazzy Jefferson. Oh, that's just his uncle's name.
Yep.
Yeah, and I find the gun very unsatisfying.
Yeah.
It just seems like you just use the sword the whole time.
Yeah.
But the gun doesn't do anything but knock the enemies back 6 inches.
Mm. Well, in our last episode, you talked about playing Jak 2, and something we had talked about. I don't think we talked about it in the video, but like the guns in that game, a lot of times are like they're fine, but they feel like a second thought.
Yeah.
Like I'd just rather do like your spin move or just jump on them, and slam. That works just as well. And sometimes better than the gun.
Yeah.
The gun sometimes takes 2 or 3 hits to kill something, where your spin attack sometimes just takes 1. Like, the gun should be way more powerful than your feet.
Yeah, the gun is only useful for pushing enemies, like, off
cliff. Yeah. Or if they're at a distance or something. But,
yeah.
Yeah, I think the gun in Devil May Cry is kind of...
Yeah, the only use I've seen for it is when you get the shotgun, and there's like multiple enemies.
Yeah.
You can kind of knock them all back.
Yeah.
But then you run up and slash them with the sword. There's no point in using the gun.
Yeah. Have you watched anything else lately? Just some games and...
Oh, I started watching that the Paradise PD.
Okay, the show from the creators of Brickleberry.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's a lot better than Brickleberry. I think being on Netflix, they kind of have a little more freedom.
Yeah.
Like they cuss, and
Yeah.
it's a little more adult humor.
Mm-hmm. Which they do that on Brickleberry.
Yeah. I guess this one's like, I think they might even say fuck. I don't know. But I like it. I like it a lot better than Brickleberry. I like it a lot better than that, whatever, Disenchanted.
Oh, yeah, I was going to mention that. I knew you'd been watching
I don't know.
The new show from Matt Groening.
Real whelmed about it.
Some people really like it. I haven't seen it. I wasn't even wowed by the trailer for it, so...
Yeah.
It just seemed like a really bland, fantasy Futurama.
Yeah. It's got its moments, but just overall, I haven't finished it, and I don't know if I will.
No, yeah. I really haven't been playing much lately. I did happen to, on kind of a pickups, I was at a buddy's house, and he's had some of mine and my brother's video games for over 15 years. Some Nintendo and some Super Nintendo games. And finally got to pick those back up. And, you see people like on, like Instagram or something posting their hauls, like, oh, pick these up in my neighborhood. Man, this is a sweet haul of my own games. Like, Mega Man 1, 3, 4, Mega Man X2, Castlevania 1 and 2 for NES, Jurassic Park for Nintendo, the one for Super Nintendo. Let's see, got Lethal Enforcers. Let's see, what is some other good X-Men for NES. And then the one that I was most excited about is... it's not even a game that I talk to people about because it's kind of one of those things like, oh yeah, you had that, sure you did. Earthbound. Finally got my copy of Earthbound back, so now I can talk to people about it because I can show them that I own it. Yep, I was real excited about that one. When Greg came over, I started showing him games out of this bag and kind of pulling them out, the lesser games, Paperboy, Rampage, and building up to Mega Man and then Castlevania, and then before I started showing him, I told him to sit down on the couch, and then I was like, okay, now hold out your hands because I'm going to let you touch this, and let him hold Earthbound.
Yeah.
So,
well, between that and Mega Man X2, that's already hundreds of dollars of games.
Yeah. They need a little cleaning. He didn't keep the games as well as I like to keep mine, so little dusty. But they can come clean with a little bit of rubbing alcohol on a cloth or something. They're not terrible.
Sandpaper and a
yeah.
actual alcohol.
It's just Everclear. Just pour Everclear over.
Everclear and sandpaper.
Sip it off. Like pour it down my mouth as I'm sandpapering it.
Do
like a gritty.
How people take like shots off of a woman, just like pour
body shots.
Yeah.
Take some Super NES shots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just pour it in the cart and drink it.
Well, while we're, kind of on a nostalgia kick with video games, like I said, kind of at the top of the show, our topic this week is, products that we wish would make a comeback. Whether that's, stuff from our childhood, our teenage years, whatever. Do you have, like, a top thing that you wish would come back?
Yeah, I say this now, I'm sure I'll think of something later that
The tops it.
Yeah. But something I've wanted back for a long time is the salsa Doritos.
Yeah.
They've had other kinds, and they've had, like...
There's the taco Doritos.
Yeah, they've had sort of related ones.
Mm-hmm.
But the salsa Doritos, they used to come in a black bag.
Yeah.
And that's like my favorite chip I've ever had. It's like the perfect amount of spice, not like hot, but spicy.
Yeah.
Just great.
Yeah. How did you feel about when I was kind of, I don't know, researching is the right word, when I was looking at my phone on the toilet, kind of thinking about this topic. How did you feel about 3D Doritos? I know some people really loved those.
I liked them a bunch.
Yeah, I did too.
I don't have like a desire, I guess, for them. Like if they came back out, that's cool.
Yeah.
But it's not really something that I'm like, oh, I wish they would bring them back.
Yeah. Yeah. They were obviously compared kind of to like Bugles.
Yeah.
Because of the shape, kind of, but the texture, they were kind of fluffy almost more of like a cheese puff or something like that. The shape was similar to a Bugle.
Yeah.
But I always liked those. I think, I've got several things to talk about, but like the one thing that I miss, and I may not even like it now, was I as a kid loved Smurf pasta from Chef Boyardee. There was like 3 or 4 different, flavors. There was like a meatball one, a regular, like SpaghettiOs.
Yeah.
But I didn't like SpaghettiOs. Even as a kid, I didn't really care for them, but I liked the Smurf pasta. Something about it, there was just a different flavor to it. And again, I may not like it now. It may just be the worst thing in the world, but I would love to see those come back, and I'm sure they won't. It's not something that many people are, nostalgia for.
Something that I've wanted, and this is like a contender for my number one thing. A lot of people kind of don't even realize that this isn't on the shelves anymore because it just sort of went away and nobody said anything about it. Was if you go to the snack food aisle, snack cakes, you can get regular oatmeal pies. And you can get peanut butter oatmeal pies.
Yeah.
And you used to be able to get peanut butter and jelly oatmeal pies.
Yeah.
And that is my favorite snack cake that has ever existed. I could just sit and eat a box of them.
Is it something that actually was discontinued, or is it just not around here anymore?
It's discontinued.
Okay. I didn't know if that was one of those things where, or maybe it was even seasonal. Some of those cakes are seasonal, so.
Yeah, no, it's been gone for a few years now. I've even emailed the company about it.
Really?
Just curious if maybe somewhere had them.
Yeah.
Or, I don't know what the deal was. But I love those things. And they have you could get a peanut butter and jelly little crackers.
Oh yeah, I have some of those. Yeah.
And those are kind of similar, actually. The flavor's similar, so that's kind of a substitution. But.
Yeah. Something I'm not a big fan of cereal. And the cereals that I do like are like healthy cereals, like Special K or, Wheaties or, Oat Bran or, I don't know, Diet Spectacular.
Yeah, I love Diet
It's
Spectacular.
my favorite.
I like any cereal with diet in the name.
And Spectacular.
Yeah. Diet Cheerios is a good one.
Yeah.
I like Diet Fruity Pebbles, Diet Milk.
Choco's Spectacular Circus
Yeah.
Spectacular. That one's got two spectaculars in it. But I just never cared for like sweet cereals, especially anything with marshmallows. I don't like dry marshmallows. And growing up, I didn't like milk, so I didn't have milk in my cereal.
Oh.
So it was just dry cereal. But something I liked was Nerds cereal. I don't know if you ever had that or not.
Yeah, I don't guess I have.
They were kind of like, I would compare them to like Fruity Pebbles,
Okay.
but they tasted like Nerds.
No.
But the texture was kind of like a Fruity Pebble. Kind of, but puffier.
Huh.
To kind of imitate the Nerds. Nerds were all kind of weird shapes. So, and also, in a very similar thing, there was a candy in the, I don't remember when it came out, but I know that it was still in the 90s. There was a candy called Dweebs, the cousins of Nerds. And they were like Nerds, except soft. They didn't like crunch when you bit into them. They were softer. Still, a similar, flavor.
Yeah.
But just not as hard on the teeth.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there's just the same amount of sugar in them, but
Yeah.
I don't know, the texture was different, and I liked them a lot.
Another thing that I kind of would like them to bring back is it's actually a few different drinks that I really miss. One of them you don't hear about too much, but it was called Mr. Green, and it was like
Sounds like a chemical.
it was
Clean my toilet with Mr. Green.
kind of Sobeys attempt at a soda.
Yeah, okay.
It's kind of a Dr. Peppery taste.
Yeah.
I guess it kind of tasted like cheer wine. It's kind of a cherry, Dr. Peppery kind of taste.
Yeah, which you just tried Cheerwine for the first time recently, so...
Yeah, that was pretty similar. I liked it a bunch when they had it. Which, it seems like Sobe drinks used to be way more common.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You can't really find them.
Oh, yeah. I used to get one like every morning before school when I was in high school. That was just something I had on my way to class.
Another drink that I liked a lot and was very limited was Pepsi Blue.
Yeah. I only had it once, I think. I guess maybe we just didn't have it around here. I don't know. Because I'd totally forgotten about it until you mentioned it one other time. Just because I, probably had only one time, so...
Yeah, I remember I'd buy like 6 packs of the bottles or whatever.
Yeah. I think something that I would love to see come back, and it's related, is this was probably maybe even early 2000s, was RC Edge. RC Edge was like RC's like energy soda, like Jolt or something like that. It had a bunch of extra caffeine. But it just kind of tasted like RC, but it just really packed in that caffeine to get you going. And I like RC. RC is one of my favorite colas. So, having RC plus all the extra sugar was just awesome. Back in I would, me and a couple buddies would get together and we'd play like Halo and, or 007, and just get jacked on RC Edges. We'd pound like 3 or 4 of them and stay up all night, and we'd take turns, playing games, and like we were all into drawing at that time, so like we'd take breaks and listen to music and just sit at a table and just draw. We kind of give ourselves a certain amount of time and see what we could come up with, and in that amount, like maybe like halfway through a CD or something like that, and then it's like, okay, here's what I've done, and then, so I definitely miss that and would love to see it come back, and it probably never will.
Another drink that I wish they would bring back is Vault.
Oh, yeah.
And I know, like, a lot of people say, it's just Surge. It's basically the same thing.
It was similar,
but,
yeah.
I don't know. I know they have Surge back now, I guess. But
Yeah.
I always kind of liked Vault better.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember which one I liked better. It's been so long, but I definitely liked it a lot and had it pretty regularly. I think I had Surge more often because it was easier to find, like, around here, where I was living at the time. So I don't think that I saw Vault as often. Another drink, I mean, we like drinks.
Yeah.
Another drink I'd like to see come back was Squeeze-Its.
Yeah, yes.
I don't know what it was about them. They had their own, like Kool-Aid. The Kool-Aid has its own flavor. Like, Kool-Aid when you taste it.
Yeah.
Squeeze-Its just had almost, it almost tasted like there was that candy that was like in a tube that you could squeeze out. It almost tasted like that as a drink.
Yeah.
Or like similar, like even similar to like a Jolly Rancher in flavoring, kinda.
Yeah. I remember Squeeze-Its also, something that I thought was fun was they had the like faces on the side.
Yeah.
And then like sometimes there would even be like trading cards on the box you could cut out. And when I was younger, I had like collected them.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I mean, I collected as in just kept them.
Mm-hmm.
They were all fucking thrown all over the place.
Of course.
Who, like, didn't give a shit.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I remember though, like, sometimes kind of saving them so I could get all the different faces.
Yeah.
I would probably still buy them if they made them.
I would as well.
Another thing, my last drink for me, I promise, is the Kool-Aid Ice Cool. It's like just Kool-Aid powder.
That was already kind of cold.
Yeah, it was like, it almost seems like maybe there was some kind of mint
Yeah.
to it, and so it kind of had that like minty, cool feeling when you were drinking it.
I don't remember what all flavors they had. I know lemonade was one of them, and lemonade already kind of tastes that way.
Yeah.
So I think I think the flavors they had were already like flavors that kind of were refreshing in a cold way.
Yeah, because I know one of the other flavors was some blue, something kind of. I remember the package being kind of like teal.
Yeah.
Color.
Yeah.
Maybe something like tropical or something.
Yeah, that's very possible. It seems fitting for that.
Yeah, yeah.
Something I would love to see come back, and a lot of people didn't care for it, was McDonald's pizza. I didn't really like McDonald's growing up. Like, even as a kid, I was not a big fan of McDonald's, but I liked their pizza a lot. And, the McDonald's in the town that I grew up in, had the pizza, and I really thought it was pretty great. And I don't know if it's still there or not, but I know there was a McDonald's, and I should look this up. McDonald's down in Orlando. It's like almost a 3-story McDonald's.
I've seen that one.
And like they have like a Mac Tonight still like sitting at the piano, but they had pizza still. At least a few years ago. They still did, so I'd be interested to see, if they still do that, and if there are any others that carry that on, or if they're the only ones.
I would say my last thing, and it's sort of like a technicality, I guess, is I wish they still had Taco Bell kids meals.
Yeah, yeah.
I know.
Something we've talked about a lot.
Yeah, you can get the food still. It wasn't nothing special food. It was like a burrito and like cinnamon twists or something.
And a drink.
Yeah. But they always had the coolest toys.
Yeah.
They always had things like Street Sharks or the Tick.
Yeah,
or whatever. It was like, or Nintendo at one point. And, when N64 came out, they had the N64 toys.
Mm-hmm. So something that I had that I'd kind of forgotten about and never even mentioned to you before was when they did the Tick.
Yeah.
They had he was probably like 12 inches tall, like a Tick that you could like hang from like inside your like you had a suction cup.
Oh.
And you could like suction cup it. Like I had it in my car when I was in high school.
Oh.
Actually, I guess not from my mirror.
Oh.
Like he hung there for years until the cord that went from his head to the suction cup broke.
Yeah.
And then he eventually like started getting holes in him and falling apart. But
Yeah.
I had that thing for years because I loved the Tick. So yeah, I really liked the toys that they had there. There were some, pretty sweet ones.
Yeah.
Better than McDonald's.
Yeah.
I mean, McDonald's had some pretty awesome ones in like the 80s. But kind of by the 90s, their output was kind of some Barbie and Hot Wheels. And
Yeah, it would be like maybe something kind of cool and then just stupid stuff.
Yeah. You might once
months.
a year you might get something, like an Animaniacs or something. But then my last thing was liquid center gum. There was like RC 7-Up and Cherry 7-Up. They were little squares, but when you bit into them, they were almost like a gusher, and they had like that soda juice in the middle, and so it kept the gum flavored longer too as you were chewing it, because it kind of kept some of that juice in your mouth, and I loved that stuff. It was really great because it did. I mean, it just tastes like RC. It tastes just like Cherry 7-Up. So I was getting soda and gum at the same time. So it's just awesome as a kid. My mom worked at a place called Hooks, which was basically CVS, a Walgreens, pharmacy.
Yeah.
And I remember like when I was a kid, that was like a big thing to go in there, and it was 25 cents or 35 cents, whatever, get for a pack. But that was something I always bought with my allowance or whatever was that gum, and would love to see that come back. What about you guys? Is there any products from it doesn't even have to be your childhood. It could just be from a few years ago, something that you loved that they don't make anymore that you'd like to see a return. We named off several. If you have something, hit us up. Let us know what nostalgia is breeding in your stomachs.
That's one way to put it. Leave some comments down below. Tell us what you think. What would you like to have back?
Yeah, and if you're listening to the podcast version of this, send us an email. Again, the email link will be in the show notes, along with some other things. But thanks again for joining us, guys. We'll talk to you next time.